I really appreciate everybody coming on out and supporting Measure C today. You know, just earlier today I was at the DWC for the endorsement forum, and you know, the reason why I do this work is not for me, but it's for the community, right? Because where I come from in New York, it was a community, and it was a community that helped us thrive. And so Measure C is near and dear to me because that's exactly what we're doing. Building more homes so that everyone can thrive, not just some people, but all people. It's absolutely critical that everybody have a roof over there. Critical.
Yes.
Right? No excuses, and I know we can do this. I know that we can do this. And is Measure C the end all be all? Absolutely not. But this is that stepping stone that's going to create more stepping stones, that's going to bring funding into this community so that we can keep building on this community instead of going in the opposite direction. So I have a couple people that's going to speak today, plus our guest here. But I'm going to invite up Assembly Member Gail Pellerin to share a few words. And again, Gail, thank you for your support of Measure C.
Thank you. Thank you, Elaine. I'll tell you what, it's pretty easy when Elaine calls you and says, hey, I need your help on a local measure I'm doing. I mean, how do you ever tell Elaine no, number one? So your work and your passion for housing here in our community is absolutely so inspirational. And that's why we're all here, because I know I've had a long day today, right? And I'm not done yet. I get to go to one more event. And what I'm thinking in my head is, when I get home, I'm gonna kick off my shoes, I'm gonna snuggle with my dog, I'm gonna maybe pour a glass of wine. I mean, that is my sanctuary. That is my place where I go to feel better, to renew my energy, to get a good night's sleep. And that is something every human being has a basic right to have. Yes. A place to call home. Thank you. And absolutely here in Santa Cruz County, our prices are just so astronomical. People cannot afford to live here. And we're talking people who are, law enforcement officers, teachers, healthcare workers, people, the essential people in our community, the people we herald during the pandemic as our essential workers are driving crazy commutes to be able to come here and work. And the stress that it takes to get home at night and what it does to our environment, but the pollutants out coming out of our cars, it's just not right. We need to create an environment, we need to create a community where we are raising the necessary funds to help people to have a place to call home. So I am so honored to be here today, and in Sacramento, we're working hard to pass legislation, to streamline processes so we can build that much needed affordable housing we need in our community. And I'm hearing different kinds of numbers. I mean, I think at 2.5 million homes by 2030 is one, goal of ours. And that is just mind-boggling to me. That is a lot of housing. And we've got to do it. And we got to be working on that very, very low income, on up to low to moderate houses as well, just so everybody can have what I'm looking forward to tonight is going home and hanging out with my dog and enjoying my evening. And so thank you all for being here. Thank you, Elaine, for your energy and your commitment to housing. And you are clearly
I want to acknowledge County Office of Education Trustee Bruce Van Allen. You are on here. And Justin Cummings. Sonia Bruno, City Council member. And I also want to acknowledge my Housing Santa Cruz County Board. We have Andrew Goldencrantz, he's on the Adam Spickler. Tim Willoughby, Santa Cruz County Board, and Gretchen over there in the corner. Thank you all for being here. And now I'm going to take this opportunity to invite up Shebra. Now, if y'all don't know Shebra, y'all need to get to know Shebra. But Shebra, you have been a housing advocate for as long as I've known you. I mean, I know the work you do from 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 sometimes. But your commitment to housing has always been number one of your number ones. And I really appreciate always partnering with you because you do believe, I mean, you have this commitment, this internal commitment that we can build homes here. for everyone. And so I want to invite you up to just to say thank you for having my back, for having HSCC's back, and having Measure C's back.
Thank you, Elaine, for all of your amazing work and your leadership. This is kind of awkward. I feel like I'm like, I don't know what. You know, I've had many homes in different countries. I think most of you know I'm from Iran. So home in Iran that we had to basically flee because of crumble of the democracy. Sorry, it just got a little emotional. And then a home in Sacramento, and then a home here. And I feel so grateful, like you, Gail, that I get to go home and cuddle with my dog and cuddle with my boys if they let me. They're teenagers now, and have a place called home. I heard a statistic recently as I had coffee with a colleague. He said, I'll have to fact check it, but he said 75% of the city of Santa Cruz's workforce lives outside the city of Santa Cruz. That's huge. So, like you said, Measure C isn't the end all, but is a step towards flipping that number. Let's make 75% of our workforce live here in our city, and Measure C will help us get there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your
I also want to give a shout out to, he's one of our consultants, but I actually call him a personal friend, Joey. Thank you for flying in. I don't know you know who people, if you've ever run a campaign, you know you can't do this by yourself. You just have to have people, they have to have your back, front, and your sides. Got to be there at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, midnight, and Joey's one of those people. It's an honor working with you. You know, there's hardly been any ledge with you around, which is great. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of Measure C. And I know you wanted to share a few words. You know, let me invite you up, Bruce Van Allen. Bruce wanted to share some great news with us today.
Well, thank you, Elaine, and thank you, everybody, for coming today. This is a really important thing. Some of you may know I've worked on affordable housing since the tenant movement of the 70s, and we are up against a really tough time. And in particular, it's been made harder by some divisive community disagreements over the last several years. And there's people that don't trust the other side, however they define that. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't trust city government. And that was a lot of why we had a really divisive experience that hurt all of us really last year over Measure O. Well, so I'd like to report today that the organization, Our Downtown, Our Future, which was the one that organized Measure O, last night voted to endorse Measure C. To me, this is really important because a lot of us in Our Downtown, Our Future, and I'm on the steering committee, have always been totally committed to affordable housing, but the way that project emerged, we had to oppose it for other reasons, and that caused a big rift, and it was unfortunate, and I'm sad that we had to go through that, but we're in a process of recovery now. And so one of the things that came out of our vote last night was that a really substantial number of members either did not vote or voted no because they do not trust the city to do an accountable job with the funds that Measure C will raise and not do enough to assure that local workers get the jobs to build that housing and that local residents get that affordable housing. And so what I'm asking us all to do right now, and I'm involved in some discussions about how to actually turn this into something that we can make some progress on for our city, is if you have any connection with the city council or your colleagues, this is the time.
There are people right here.
This is the time to encourage everyone to think about how can the city do better. Again, it's accountability for the use of the money so that it's transparent and public and understood that it's going to the right purpose, and that the city is doing everything it can, not just words on paper, but actually implementing serious efforts to do better in making sure that it's local workers that do the building and local residents who get the main benefit of that local tax money. So anyway, I'm just asking, let's keep that in mind as we move forward, but I think it's very significant, and it took some work, honestly, to get Our Downtown, Our Future on board, and now we can move forward with a lot more unity. So I'm really pleased to tell you that.
Thank you for sharing that, Bruce. And that's why we have our supporters here. Everything's relational, right? Trevor's here, Sonia's here, Justin's here, right? Because at the end of the day, we are in this together. You know, Gail still showing up. Everybody's showing up because we are in this together. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for hearing that we got their endorsement. It's tremendous.
Yes.
It was the icing on the cake today.
I just wanted to mention that this morning at the DWC endorsement forum, that question did come up, and specifically around, so these funds would go into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. But what happens when state grants, it helps leverage state and federal grants.
That's the big piece.
And so the question that came up is when those come into play, then we don't always have local preference.
Well, but.
And so that was the point to kind of, and I hear you loud and clear, we're happy to look at every possible way we can make it so people who live here, work here, can get on those lists first, and every possibility that we can, we strive for that. So how do we make that when there are limitations? I just want that understood.
Well, it's worth saying that one of the reasons this is hard and that purely giving preference to local residents in an affordable housing project is our country's bad history of racial discrimination. And so the federal laws, the federal funding mechanisms and the state funding mechanisms have pretty strong prohibitions against using any kind of preference as a disguise for racial discrimination. And so that's why this is not an easy needle to thread, let's put it that way. But I think, and I've looked at a bunch of the laws, we can get somewhere. We think we can get somewhere, and we really appreciate the interest of the council. Yeah.
And it's actually a huge piece, and that was the note that I took, that was gonna be my follow-up. So we should meet, because people are gonna come back to me, wanting to know what we found out about that. Because what we don't wanna do is break trust. And we don't want that. We wanna continue to build trust.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate everybody's.
So please sign up to volunteer. We'll reach out to you. We'll get you your packet. I'll come to your house. Whatever we need to do, we will make it happen. Thank you, Shebra, for being one of the homes that's posted, has yard signs on her porch in case you need it. Live on the Upper West Side, and so you don't have to drive downtown to get them. Thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it. That we need to get, right? And so I also would like to invite you to take a yard sign. If you want to grab one for your neighbor or somebody else you know that lives in the city, please grab 2 or 3 yard signs on your way out. Okay, let's see what else.
They're in the yard in case you didn't see them.
Really, Vern?
Right? Yeah, you grab 2, 3 each, that would be great. You know, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Janine, thank you for opening up your home. Thank you for your commitment to this work. Thank you for everybody's commitment to this work. Thank y'all for having my back, because this is no small thing, picking up the phone at night when I need to process. Right?
You know I'm up, so.
Yes, right here. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
I know we can do this. Right here.